Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. It was inspired by a card that one of the ladies in my team made for her Card Cuppa afternoon that she runs. I'm going to change my colour scheme and I'm going to use Watermelon Wonder. So to start off with, the card pieces you're going to need. You need a card base in Tip Top Taupe, which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8, which is 21 by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5 centimetres. You need 2 pieces of Whisper White, which measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25. One of the pieces is to line the inside of the card. Then you need another piece of Tip Top Taupe, which measures 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. Then you will need a piece of Watermelon Wonder, which measures a tad under 2 inches across there, by 4 1/4 inches, which is 5 centimetres by 10.8 centimetres. And then 4 pieces of Whisper White, one which measures 3 1/2 inches by 2 3/4 inches, which is 6.5 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. One piece that measures 2 3/4 inches by 2 inches, which is 4.5 centimetres by 5 centimetres. A piece that is 3 inches by 3 inches, which is 7.5 by 7.5 centimetres. And then one small piece which is 1 inch by 1 3/4 inches, which is 2.5 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. Now I might get a little bit confused about this because it's not as easy as saying, right, I'm going to do the stamping first and then the die cutting and then putting it together. So because some of it is embossing, heat embossing, and some dry embossing. So I'm going to start off, I think, with the stamping first and see where that takes me, because that's going to be die cut. That's die cut and stamping. That's die cutting and this is stamping. Alright, let's start with the stamping first. So I'm going to do the butterfly, and the butterfly is from the Butterfly Basics stamp set. So I'm going to be using this one here. And I have a die that will die cut that. Okay, so that's another piece for die cutting. And then the only other stamping I know another piece. We need to do one for the inside of our card, like this. Okay, that's the same as the butterfly on the front. So I'll do another one of those. Oops, just dipped my finger in that. If I get myself in a mess with ink, it's always the red colours. And I haven't made up my mind whether I think this one's a red or an orange. Except to say, I find it troublesome when it comes to getting myself in a mess. Right, so there's that one. Now I'm going to do the heat embossing. So it'll be this piece and this piece. So let's do the band across here, and that is from Delicate Details, which is one of the gifts available in during Sale-a-bration, which goes on to 31st of March, and I'm going to be using this one here. In Sale-a-bration, or at least during Sale-a-bration, you get to choose one free gift for every £45 of your order, not including delivery charges. Right, so first of all, I'm going to use my Dust Buddy to get rid of any greasy marks or anything. I've already got my stamp onto my block, and I've made sure it's all nice and straight with the aid of my grid paper. But as you can see, this is coming over both edges, but that doesn't matter because going across here, that is quite big enough. Alright, so I'm going to move that one out of the way for the time being. I'm going to ink my stamp up with my Versamark, and I do tend to put whichever is the biggest at the bottom, whether it's the stamp that is the biggest or the ink that's the biggest, it goes to the bottom. Right, so with this one now, I'm going to bring it towards me. I'll try not to get in the camera, but I'm lining up the bottom of the stamp with the bottom of my cardstock. I'm also trying to make sure that I've got the stamp in the centre of my cardstock. And what I mean is, where there's a scalloped edge on this, I'm trying to make sure that where the scallop comes down at the end, it's even. So like that. Yeah, that's almost spot on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 scallops there. And that's quite good for me. Right, I'm going to turn it round, re-ink, and then I'm going to turn the stamp around, stamp down, and I'm going to leave just a small gap in between there. Right, I'm going to see how far I can lean forward. That seems to be alright. Right, make sure my scallops are about even. I'm leaving a little gap between two images. I will bring it up close for you so that you can see how much gap I've left. I'm going to wrap some ribbon around, which is why I'm leaving a gap there. Alright. So I'm going to just sprinkle some silver embossing powder on here, and then I need to do the sentiment for silver embossing as well. There we go. So I'll just pop this back into the pot while I do the next piece. I'll rest that down there. Now this one, I'm going to be die cutting it so it comes up like the square, like this. So I know roughly where I've got to put my stamp. If I got the stamp right. And the stamp is from the Circle of Spring stamp set. And I do use this quite a lot because I like this font. The thank you and the happy birthday. Obviously I use that one at Mother's Day, but obviously not all year round, and the Easter one. But lovely, lovely, lovely set, that one. Right, did I do this? I don't think I did. So again, I'm going to ink up, bring this close to me. Try and get it sort of straight, but as long as it's not too wonky, I can straighten it out when I do the die cutting. The circle is bigger than, the square rather, is bigger than I actually need, so if I need to twist it a bit, I've got the room to do that. Right, I have that. Let's bring that sheet back again. Move that out so I don't damage that one. That's okay. Just give it a second going over just to make sure. Put that back. Rest that down there, pop the lid on. We don't want sending that all over the place. You can see I've got a little bit where I don't want it. Wonder if I can reach my brush. Yes, I can see it. It's much better to try doing this with a brush than finger. Right, now I'm going to use my heat tool and get this done. It's going to be noisy for a little while, so please excuse me. I'm going to give it a couple of seconds to heat up first. This never fails to fascinate me. What a stunning effect, and so easy. Pop that down there. Right, so what do we need to do next? That needs to be die cut, that's die cutting, that's die cutting, that is, and that is, and then this one needs to be dry embossed as well. Okay, I'm going to bring my big shot up, leave those sitting there so I don't forget anything. Right, so the dies I'm going to be using. For this one, I am using this one here, which is from Butterflies Thinlits. On Teresa's card, what she did was she used a big one like that and a solid one on top. You really must go to her website to have a look. It's really lovely. So there's that one for that. And then I need, in fact it looks like I've done a piece too much, haven't I? Or a piece that's too big. I'm going to do one of these. Okay, so that one's there. Now this one comes from this set, which is called Bold Butterfly, and that one actually fits onto the larger one here, so you can, why did they do, oh yes, because you can do you can die cut a solid one and that'll fit behind that one. So long since I've used that one, I had a blank moment. Right, so that one goes on there as well. I also want, but I don't need that. I don't like my butterflies without antennae, so I am going to use, I have done this on another video before, but this is the die set for the mini treat bag, and there's this bow that you get in there, and I use that for antennae. So I'll show you how I do that. So I think that's going to go on there, isn't it? Let me just see if I've got some tissue paper around here. I thought I'd brought a piece over with me. Yes, I have. In fact, I could put tissue on that as well, couldn't I? Let's put that up there. So that's all right. That's the square. Might as well see if I can get all this done in one go, mightn't I? And the square that I'm using is from our Stitched Shape framelits, and I'm using the third one. I always start counting from the smallest. The smaller the die, smaller the number. So I will take number 3. Now this is where, try putting it the right way around. If you find like me that you've done your stamping a bit crooked, you can straighten it up. Let's move this over a bit, otherwise it's going to be interfering. So what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that the line under that writing is straight with this, and I'm not losing my birthday there. Those two are to the right. That's upside down as well. I blame this on the fact that I was in hospital yesterday and I had an anaesthetic. I think it's still affecting my brain. Sorry about that. Right, come on. Wasn't anything serious, it was just for some tests I needed done. Right, there we go, that's all of that. Don't forget that one. Right. Actually, now I've done that, I think the butterfly, I should have used a different platform. Let me see whether it's cut okay or not. It's the intricate one that may not have done very well. First of all, let's see this. That's beautiful. Nice and straight. Let's put my dies in one pile over there so I don't lose anything. And one butterfly. Keep that piece. Now let's... Oh, it looks as if it has cut nicely. I'll just give it one more run through just in case. Beautiful. I'll sort those pieces out in a minute. Before I die cut this banner, I need to punch the end, and I'm using our triple banner punch. Okay, that one. This is why you need this piece a tad shorter than 2 inches, so it slides in there nicely. You just slide it right into the end, and just turn it over, just make sure that you are right at the end, and then punch. Obviously, if you don't have that punch, you can just eyeball that. Right, now I'm going to dry emboss this, but I will use my new platform for it. I don't need that piece with it. And the embossing folder I am using is called Fluttering. And it's all of these butterflies. Now what I want is to do my dry embossing over this piece here where it's got lots of little butterflies. So I take my piece, look for where those butterflies are, and they're all here. I've got a little dinky one there as well which I want to get included. So if I put that like that, close it, and then turn it round to the front. I'm not sure that's totally straight, is it? Not that it really matters, I don't think, not with butterflies. Okay, so I'm happy, you can see where which butterflies you're going to get on your design. Now this needs to go, this fold needs to go into the machine first. And make sure it's actually inside the plates and that it's all solid in there, so that it's not going to be getting caught on the sides. Let me bring this back a bit because I moved it out, didn't I? Okay, so make sure that this is inside and not hanging off over the edge here anywhere. There we go. Isn't that lovely? Right, let me move this. We don't need this anymore. Those plates I don't need, nor that. Okay, we now need to separate these two. So I'll bring my die brush in. Now the bow should be alright. That should come out nice and easily. There we go, that's that. If there's any other bits left in there, I'll sort those out once I've finished the video. And that's come out really nicely. Let's empty that. Right, and I think that is about everything done, isn't it? So what I'm going to do first is start building this one up first. Just said that. Right, the ribbon I'm using is this one, which is, I wrote the name down so I don't forget it, it's a 3/8 of an inch, which is 1 centimetre, metallic ribbon combo. It does also come with gold, which I will show you at the end. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere a piece there and tuck it under both sides. And what I find is the easiest way to do this, and I get myself in less of a fix by doing it like this. I just cut the amount of ribbon that I think I need first of all, which is sort of that length. And then I'm just going to put some snail on both ends. I used to try putting snail on the back of the layer that I'm putting it on, but I found that I got myself in such a mess, and one day I actually got stuck to my grid paper. It wasn't funny. Well, it's funny now, but it wasn't at the time. Right, so what I'm doing is I am judging to get this in the centre there, so however much of this holy bit I cover, I'm going to do the same on that one. In fact, that's nice because it's giving me a silver straight line left over, so that's good. So that's that one, or maybe not. Right, that one there. So to make sure I get this straight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up on one of those lines, make sure that's straight, making sure that this is straight down here as well, and then see where my ribbon comes from here, and then I've got to line it up in the same place on the other side, which that looks about right. Let's just double check that. I double check by going up to the thick dark line here, and again make sure I'm straight here, make sure this is straight. Yep, oh maybe not, that's got to come down very fractionally. That should be spot on now. No, not at all. I think what I've done is I think my stamping is probably a bit out. Let's try that again. If it is, then I'm just going to live with it. That's fine. Right, I'm going to attach this onto here using Tombow. I would recommend that you use fast fuse. The reason I don't recommend snail for this is because you've got ribbon there, and it needs to be, I think it needs to be anchored down a bit more. just to make sure that it doesn't slide out. And I know with fast fuse it definitely won't. I'm not sure about snail. Okay, so that's on there nicely. I'm just going to give that a good rub from the back. Yep, that's good. And at this stage I'm also, no I can't, I have to do it at the end. I was going to put a glue dot under that, but I'll do that at the end. Right, now the next one I need is this, but I need to put a ribbon round it. So before I do anything else, I'm going to do the same here. Again, bring my craft mat in. A little bit of snail either end. Decide how far down I want this to go. I think that looks like a nice distance. So put that on. That looks straight. Right, make sure I'm straight down here and I'm straight across here, and then that should be equal. Yep, that is. So again, I'm going to use Tombow. I'd recommend fast fuse like I did before if you don't want to use Tombow. Whoops. But make sure you put some extra on the ribbon. And just line this up with the top of the Tip Top Taupe cardstock, and then make sure that this is straight down here. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to put this onto my card base. There's that, and then for my butterfly, I'll show you what I do with the antennae. This is my bow, so what I do is I cut that off like that, finish it up like a broken horseshoe, and I do the same on the other side. That one didn't break. And then I separate these two. You may not be bothered about your butterfly having antennae, but I don't like it. The trouble is with these, this one is a lot more curved than that one, so I cut a piece off, and there's no way I'm going to cut that into a round curvy bit. So I just trim it until it looks sort of curvy. Any pointed bits, sharp bits, cut them off. That's not too bad. Yep, I can live with that. Okay, so with my two butterflies, fold along the body so that you've got the straight line across there. Do the same with this one. A little bit of hairy. And then, oops, and then that side as well. So I'm going to put the antennae onto this one, and then I'm going to glue the two together. So first of all, I'm going to take just a little bit of Tombow. You could use snail for this, or fast fuse. and then take the first one and then put it wherever you like it, however long you want your antennae to be. On this little butterfly I tend to bring up this bit, the base, right down to the base of him. In fact, it looks like I've left too much on there. I need to cut a piece off the base, but that's alright. In fact, I haven't got enough glue on that bit. Let me just put some more Tombow on here. There we go. Let's try that bit again. In fact, let's cut some off the base, because I don't need all of that there. That's it, that looks about right. Let's see what it looks like from the front. Oh yes, much nicer. Right, let's just put some all over his body so I can put the two together. And by sticking the two together, obviously that'll hold the antennae in place. There we go. So that needs to go onto there. So yep, I think I'll do that first. You may want to do that so that you can work out how you want to go. But no, I'm going to do mine first. I'm going to use Tombow, again snail or fast fuse, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the antennae. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. I'm just positioning that where I think it looks right. And I'm going to put some, what shall I use? I think I will use pearls down the body. Paper piercer. So the first one I come down to the bottom of the tail, and then I work my way up, and it should finish up that there are 3 on here. Yes, 3 finish off just about right. Okay, so now I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals, and I'm going to put one in each corner, and then I'm going to put one in the middle just to give it that extra little bit of support. With the one in the middle, you don't actually have to take the paper off, as long as it's there to do the supporting. And then position this where you think it looks best. So just fan him up a bit. Just to give you an idea, did I keep that butterfly over here? I did have a big butterfly, and I thought if I hold that nearby I could at least show you what the big one looked like. No, it looks as if he's flown away. No, it's gone. Never mind. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. This is the bigger one. This is the one that Teresa used. But if you can imagine that on top here, that's how she did hers. See? It's lovely, isn't it? I just used the little one on mine though. Right, that's all done. So all I need now is to pop this in the centre, and that is today's card finished. it's getting stuck on that bit of glue underneath, isn't it? Right, pop this in. There we go. So there we go, that's today's card. I hope you like it, hope you give it a try. I'll just show you one other that I did. I did one in Delightful Dijon as well, where I've used the gold. Oh, that's what I haven't done, isn't it? Let me just show you how to do that bit. Like I've tied a little ribbon there. It's not anything to do that, it was an extra bit, and on this one. Okay, so what I did was just took a small piece, about 5 inches I think. I'll show you how this is done. If you just slide it underneath so you're totally vertical, and then as you fold that over, if you make sure that that comes, as it comes over, whatever is underneath here, okay, whatever's underneath there has to face up, and then the same on the other piece. You get that to face up, and when you pull them, making sure that you're right in the centre before you do it. If you pull them, in fact that one's got itself twisted. Oh, that's better. Okay, then they just lay flat. Trim to the size you want. Okay, then you've got a nice little faux bow really, I suppose, isn't it? It's just a knot there, but it does look nice. So there we go, there's today's card. Hope you like it. As I say, if you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, if you click on the box below which says show more, that will take you to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. I would really appreciate your business. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please click on the subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I upload another video, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays. And I will be putting on the screen all the measurements of everything and the products that I've used. If you can't see because of the device you're watching on, again, if you click on show more in the box below, that will open up and everything will be in there ready for you. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.